I'm gonna be showing you guys how to press some rosin today. Before I get into the press, I'm gonna basically go over some rules of pressing for you guys. First of all, fire in, fire out. You're not gonna put in some dry ass. Well, for one, if you put in some dry ass material that's brown and deoxidized, you won't get anything out because it has to have moisture to actually push the THC out, and it has to have a THC content that hasn't been deoxidized. You know, so the shit's brown. If it's old, if it's some bullshit, you're gonna get some bullshit out. Now that we got that out the way, temperature. For flour, I'm typically going 185 for 180 seconds. For just dry sift that I'm gonna be doing, it's out of a fresh trim tray from bud that just cured. I'm gonna be doing 160 at 120 seconds, maybe 150 if you were doing bubble hash or something like that. With that being said, I have failed this process multiple times in multiple ways. The very first time, and I'm just gonna tell you my experience, right? Do not go way too slow. So when we start this press, don't have your plate all the way down here. Like literally, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't go this slow, but don't have the plates fully depressed, and then you go to start your press and you're slowly pumping it up and doing this. And for the first minute, you're just basically pumping it like you're getting this plate to this plate. That shouldn't happen for a minute. As soon as you get that on there, you want to get those two things touching, and that pressure buildup is going to be you putting pressure on it while those two plates are touching, and you're actually squishing the puck. So that's what that timer's for. You shouldn't be wasting time actually getting it to level, right? If you do, you're going to overdo your timer. Second, while I'm saying that, like the hurry up and get it up there, do not hurry up and get it up there, and then once you start getting the press, you keep pressing. So what you want to do, you want to press this thing until it gives you a firm pressure back. Once that firm pressure is there, you know the bag is fully pressurized. You can tell it's pressure on it. You want to just let it hold for a second, and you're going to actually be looking at the profile of the material inside. So no matter what you're pressing, whether it's flour, kief, or this or that, it's going to start to turn like black, dark, and the material is going to darken as the trichome heads and the moisture leaks out the bag. While that's happening, you won't actually need an insane amount of pressure to start, and you'll get flow, right? Now, once that flow is achieved with that first pressure, which I'm not saying don't pressurize the bag, you're gonna need pressure, that's why you have pressure, but what you don't want to do is get it pressed on and like try to squish the THC out, because this is a two-part process. So while you're squeezing this bag, it's going to need to sit on this plate, and the heat is going to need to actually melt the material and melt the trichome head down, and then you're going to need the pressure to squeeze it as well. So again, if it was just as easy as putting it in there and doing this and squeezing all of it out, you wouldn't need the heat. The heat is there, and you have to let the heat dissipate across the patty evenly. Once it dissipates, you will see the whole thing turn black, and the material will start to ooze out slightly. Now, if it's coming really slow, you can give it just a little more pressure, and as it heats, it should be easier to give it pressure. So let's say you start to feel like a lot of give back. Once it turns black and you do this, you're gonna notice it's way easier to move. That's because, again, you were dealing with more of a solid material, and at this point it's melted. And once you start squeezing, you're basically pressing that melted material out. You know what I'm saying? You're pressing that moisture and stuff out. So it's just as much about pressing as it is heat. So what I'm warning you about now is a blowout, right? All of that goes to explain how not to have a blowout. I've had blowouts. The worst blowout I had was with a big ass bag I put in there, got it tight, Didn't really let it heat up, and I just kept pressing and kept pressing and kept pressing, trying to squeeze all the shit out. And I'm just now realizing, hey, I should have let that bag sit for a while. I should have let that mature, and then I should have squeezed the stuff out. I should have took that process just a tiny bit slower. But you don't want to take it so slow. You're just leaving the stuff on there to burn and deoxidize and to sit there for no reason, right? Because if it's just sitting on this plate for 3-4 minutes for no reason, the shit's gonna turn black, brown, lose all its terps. So it's a real science to this. As quick as we can, we're gonna get this depressed, and we're gonna let it get up to heat. We're gonna keep giving it a little pressure at a time, squeeze it out. And another thing that you have to know is when to call it, right? So as that kief, this is kief that we're pressing. So as it's releasing the trichomes, there's gonna be a point where the flow isn't as good as it was, right? You have to make the choice on whether to pull that now and call that first press, right? And get it out the heat like right now, and then go back and try to get a second press, which is going to degrade the quality. It's going to be way worse on that second press, may even blow the bag out. Or you have to make the decision to continue to press, and it just means all of your product is going to be that much drier. So again, it's a real science to this. I believe I went over temperatures with you guys, blowout, and the last most important thing, and this is why preparation is so important, slippage. That shit is just almost as bad as a blowout, because when your bag slips, it doesn't press a big ass part of the material. When the material is unpressed, it's unpressed, and it just was on a plate cooking for no reason. So now you're gonna come back, and yes, you can press the material later, but hey, it's been on a plate for 2 minutes for no reason. The shit's gonna be black. Worst experience ever, bro. You wasted your fucking material. Not a literal waste, because you got something out of it, but at the same time, bro, I promise you do not want to slip. So, to minimize the slips, you want to have everything ready, basically. The slipping shit occurs when you're unprepared. If you're prepared as fuck, like I'm prepared right now, I'm not going to allow a slip to occur, right? It's not even a chance that shit's finna happen. You know why? Because I'm going to prevent the motherfucker. So what I've done, I have the press kind of pulled out, and we have a rectangular plate, meaning the best rosin flow is going to come out this way, like forward to the paper, because it comes out on the long side of the rectangle the best. So we have kief pucks here, right? I'm going to be pressing these kief pucks. I've already pressed those with the plates while it was cold, just so we don't have to press them again. And this is another thing that will help you with slips. Pre-press your bags. Before I turned this press on and got it to heat, I put these bags in here and I pressed them, not to the level that you would want them to make them sweat, but a little before there, right? To where we're gonna be able to put it on there, tighten it up rather quick, and instantly get into what we're doing. We're not gonna have to waste very much time with the getting it to level. Now, with doing that, watch out for blowouts, bro. You already tightened the shit, you're just getting it to level, and you're gonna let it sweat, then you're gonna slowly start to tighten it again. You don't, because I'm telling you, just because the shit has heat does not mean it's not gonna blow out. So you want to take that process slow rather than fast, because if you have a blowout, you've heated the material for no reason and wasted it. You burnt the terps off, you did this, you're gonna get the THC out probably through a second press, but you fucked up the process by rushing. So I feel like being prepared is the thing that's gonna catch you with it. So for one, pre-pressed bags, it's like 50% of slips. 2 is gonna be when you actually put it in here, bro. So I promise you can put this thing square in the middle. Let's say you put it square in the middle without pressing it. The big ass hump that's in the bag or whatever, while it starts to press, it may shoot this way, it may shoot that way, it may what it typically does is shoot forward, right? So you start to press and the bag starts to come out towards the front right here, literally. And it's like the worst thing, bro. Like the bag literally, you will see it. It will start in the back and it will just slowly slide out. And by the time you have a full compression on there, the bag is literally, fuck, bro. The bag is like halfway out of here and it's like a dark color and you getting pressed, but 20 to 50% of your stuff is either getting trapped in the bag or not getting pressed out of the bag. So, well, both of those is getting trapped in the bag and not pressed out. So, sorry I took such a long time to explain in the beginning, but I want you guys to be able to do this shit without fucking up. Cause like, you know, I'm at a farm, so I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna just, pop that back there. I'm not gonna put it too far back. Yes, okay. And just like that, I'm going to start to pump. Now I want y'all to really pay attention to this shit, bro. Because at some point, that pressure is gonna be, it's gonna start not to need that pressure really. You don't want to give it too much. I always want to take it slow rather than fast. See, now that we're up the pressure, see how that bag's raising a little bit? And if you look at that bag, you can start to see that bag darken. You can start to see that bag darken just a little bit. That's how we know that we're getting near pressure. And that's really how you know that pressure is good. When pressure is good at that point, and that means the material's cooking through. And it's coming through the bag, right? So at this point, all we really doing is giving it some gentle nudges to just keep that pressure on it. Now see how that whole bag just turned black? We can give it just a little bit more pressure. And it'll push out more. This, bro, I'm gonna put this shit very soon, but it just keeps giving me a little bit more pressure. This is my best extraction to date. Okay, and I'm gonna call it. I could have got more out, but we're going into the color getting dark.